June of 2021, 28-year-old Georgia Lori and her twin sister Melissa were on vacation in Mexico, taking a riverboat tour nearby a scenic and beautiful lagoon when they asked their tour guide a fatal question. Is it safe to swim in this water? The guide, only known as Richie, insisted that it was, but what these twins didn't know is that their tour guide was a fraud. A fraud who rounded up tourists for cheap boat rides to undercut the federally approved experts who knew the area and the waters. Experts who knew that they were currently heading into the most crocodile-inhabited part of this lagoon right in the middle of hatching season. Richie had no idea. And so as Melissa and Georgia dive into the water, they notice a large log kind of floating towards them. But seconds later, Melissa realizes this log has eyes, and it was in fact a giant crocodile closing in on them. So at this point, they both begin swimming frantically towards the shore. And just as Melissa is about to make it there, extending her hand to a third passenger who's also on this boat tour for help, this massive crocodile bites down on her other hand and yanks her under the water in the blink of an eye. The crocodile then begins the death roll with Melissa in its jaws as her twin sister Georgia watched in horror from the shore. But suddenly, the croc let her go, leaving her body floating in the lagoon. So at this point, Georgia dives into the water to retrieve her sister's body and save her. She is not leaving without her. Just as she reaches her sister's body, she sees this monstrous crocodile heading directly towards the both of them once again. So it reaches them and clamps down its jaws around Melissa's leg this time. And as it does, Georgia begins punching this crocodile as hard as she can right in its snout, and finally causes the crocodile to let go of Melissa and swim away. But then it circled around a third time now, sank its large teeth into Melissa's abdomen now, so hard that it punctured through her stomach and other organs. But Georgia, determined to save her sister, just keeps punching this crocodile the entire time as hard as she can, and she's punching, and then just like that, her fist gets caught in the mouth of this crocodile because it has let go of Melissa and caught her fist in its jaws, breaking Georgia's wrist in the process. And so this does not deter Georgia, and she gets her free hand and begins punching it as hard as she can with this hand now, throwing haymakers, until finally the croc gives up on the attack and disappears back into the lagoon. She then pulls her twin back onto the boat, where they eventually make it to help at a hospital. Georgia was treated for several deep lacerations into the palm of her hand from this croc's teeth, and also her broken wrist from when it caught it. Melissa was not so lucky. She was put into a medically induced coma for days due to her wounds becoming infected and developing sepsis. Fortunately, Melissa went on to wake up from this coma and make a full recovery, and the bond between these two twins has never been stronger.